very warm welcome to everyone to my first blog. This will be a daily blog. I would be attempting to capture all the important stories, events, and news happening all around the world. It will be like a daily supplemental dose that will provide a brief insight into all the major developments, all the major happenings. Now, first thing first, reason for starting this blog, or how is it going to benefit everyone? Some may resort to newspapers, some may watch TV to keep them updated, or some may even surf the news channels or go through the YouTube, Facebook, and other social platforms to keep them updated on what is happening. Let it be politics, economy, or let's say international current affairs, what is happening in my neighborhood or within my country, outside my neighboring countries, how they're doing. So, all this stuff probably you may not get in one place. I'm trying to gather all in one place, make it more relevant for a layman and how much information they need to be aware of to make an informed decision and to be aware of how things are going to shape up in future. And one good thing, I may differ in my thinking from others. So I'm providing a platform here where people can put up their queries and I'll try to answer them in my subsequent blogs. I'll try to further touch into issues which I may not have addressed during my daily blog. I can express my views, or further, I can do further data mining to get more information about those specific topics. We can have in-depth discussion on certain topics which are far reaching than what we can cover in 5 to 10 minutes. Probably once in a week we can touch upon those topics. We can do an in-depth analysis to understand more about it and how it will impact the population going forward. How is it going to change the ergonomics? How is it going to influence mass? Such things can be discussed in detail. Now, these discussions or the daily news blogs will help you understand matters, will help you gather information, and you can be at par with others while talking about these topics rather than spending time on different sources and gathering all such. Probably a 5 to 10 minutes video can provide you rich information about these topics. Now, this can also act as a library of information going forward. If you need to know something about this, or you have to utilize at certain point in your life, you can straight away come to these blogs, do data mining, or get into those categories to find out information. My daily blogs will specify the topics that I will be covering. So probably you can refer to this like a book, wherein like you can flip few blogs to find out all those information. This is targeted for everyone, let it be a homemaker, student, or a business professional. People from every walk of life are going to benefit and they can leverage from this information. Let's start with today's news. The first one is international news. Let's start with the first one. Iran and China have quietly drafted a sweeping economic and security partnership that would clear the way for billions of dollars of Chinese investment in energy and other sectors, undercutting the Trump administration's efforts to isolate the Iranian government because of its nuclear and military ambitions. In fact, the partnership was first proposed by President Xi Jinping of China during a visit to Iran, where he met his Iranian counterpart Hassan Rouhani in 2016. The partnership would vastly expand Chinese presence in banking, telecommunication, ports, railways, and dozens of other projects. In exchange, China would receive a regular and, according to an Iranian official and an oil trader, heavily discounted supply of Iranian oil over the next 25 years. The partnership will depend in other sectors, including military cooperation, potentially giving China a foothold in a region that has been a strategic preoccupation of the United States for decades. It calls for joint training and exercises, joint research and weapon development, and intelligence sharing, all to fight the lopsided battle with terrorism, drug and human trafficking, and cross border crimes. It has not yet been submitted to Iran's parliament for approval or made public, stoking suspicions in Iran about how much the government is preparing to give way to China. In Beijing, officials have not disclosed the terms of the agreement either, and it is not clear whether Mr. Xi's government has signed off or it has when it might announce it. If put into effect as detailed, the partnership would create a new and potentially dangerous flashpoints in the deteriorating relationship between China and the United States. Renewed American sanctions, including the threat to cut off access to the international banking system for any company that does business in Iran, have succeeded in suffocating the Iranian economy by scaring away badly needed foreign trade and investment. At a time, Tehran has shown desperation and has pushed itself into the arms of China, which has the technology and appetite for oil that Iran needs. Iran has been one of the world's largest oil producers, and at the same time it exports. Tehran's largest source of revenue have plunged since Trump administration began imposing sanctions in 2018. China gets about 75% of its oil from abroad and is the world's largest oil importer, close to 10 million barrels a day last year. At a time when the United States is reeling from recession and the COVID 19 situation and increasingly isolated internationally, Beijing senses American weakness. The drought agreement with Iran shows that, unlike most countries, China feels it is in a position to defy the United States, powerful enough to withstand American penalties, and it has in the trade war, as it has waged President Trump earlier. Two ancient countries, or the Asian cultures, Iran and China, two partners in this agreement, have something in common: trade, economy, politics, culture, security, with a similar outlook and many mutual bilateral and multilateral interests. Will consider one another as a strategic partner going forward. The Chinese investments in Iran, which two people who have been briefed on the deal said would total close to 400 billion US dollars over 25 years. The expansion of military assistance, training, and intelligence sharing will also be viewed with alarm in Washington. American warships already tangle regularly with the Iranian force in the crowded waters of the Persian Gulf and challenge China's internationally disputed claim to much of the South China Sea. I hope you like this update. My next topic would be UK preparing for the EU exit and how it is planning to ban people who have been using Huawei for their 5G network, and much more in my next blog. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy. Bye bye.